Hello and welcome back. I am Dawn Westmoreland, your talk host, coming from Asheville, North Carolina, coming from WPVM FM LP 103.7, the voice of Asheville. My syndicated show is called The Empowered Whistleblower. It's about blowing the whistle with my guest experts on strategies that empower people. Now, my show airs every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone in Asheville. But if you're in a different location, you may pick it up on another time and date. I have three wonderful folks on. I've interviewed them independently in the past, but right now they have some solutions for the workplace. And I'm here to tell you, I've worked in HR over 31 years, almost 32 years, and I know some of the problems that we have in the workplace. So I want to invite Dr. Summer Watson to tell us about herself, her team, the program, the solutions that they're going to provide to the workplace. We're going to have a great talk today. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you, Dawn. We're so excited to be here today with you. Yeah, so we're here to talk about a lot of different things that are happening in the workplace and how we are going to help support the workplace and what we are here to do about it, what our program is going to do to help during times of transition and change. And we see a lot of those coming quickly, a lot of those changes occurring. So right now, I'd really like to tell folks about who I am and then introduce the team, and then we can go from there. That sound good?
Awesome. Yes.
So my name is Dr. Summer Watson, and I'm a doctor of clinical psychology. I'm also a coach. I've worked in the field of human services for over 30 plus years, and I've also assessed hundreds, if not thousands, of people and worked with various organizations that are nonprofit, for profit, and work with community to collaborate to make community-wide changes, also to make changes within the workforce. But today we are going to be talking about something called KORE Mentorship Solutions, which falls under my business, KORE Women. But before we do that, I want to introduce a couple of our team members. A couple of them are not able to join us today, our core team members, but we have here as well our Chief Marketing and Program Consultant, Jen Fontanilla. And then we also have our communications and recruiting specialist, Chasity Douyon. You want to take it from here?
Welcome, ladies.
Mhm.
What are your roles? What are each of your roles? We'll start with Chastity.
Yeah, so my name is Chasity Douyon, as Dr. Summer Watson mentioned, and I am the community and recruiting specialist here. So mainly the first point of contact for companies to get onboarded, to learn more about the program, and to hopefully get started with us.
Awesome. And Jen, how about you?
Hello, I'm the Chief Marketing and Program Consultant. My background is actually 25 years in design and marketing, and I focus on branding and social media and communications, and also helping develop the structure and looking at the programs with Summer and the team and figuring out what is it that we can do to help companies and organizations and change their company culture, as well as implementing a cross-generational mentorship approach. So that's some of the things that I do, and yeah, it's just been wonderful as our team has just become so solidified, and we're really working on each other's strengths.
Yes. And I have to say, you all are very humble. I've known you for, probably Chastity the least amount of time, but all of you are high achievers out there working with big companies and making a huge difference. So glad you're on the show. So I know right now we are in a world of incivility in the workplace. There's division, there's all kinds of problems. We got young folks, we have older folks, baby boomers. There's always a problem. I know that. I worked in employee labor relations. Dr. Summer Watson, what are some of the things that you can solve, some of the pain that you can resolve for companies?
I love that question, Dawn. So let me just start with the foundational aspects of the KORE Mentorship Solution Program. It really does fall under KORE Women, which is KORE Women. And that is an acronym for how we as humans kinetically connect, organically learn from one another, reshape our lives through diverse interaction, and empower one another to promote change. And those are principles that run through everything I do, every program that I've created under the umbrella of KORE Women. So this particular program, KORE Mentorship Solutions, or KMS, so we don't have to keep saying the longer title, is a groundbreaking, really cross-generational program that's designed to build bridges between the 5 different generations that are currently out there, soon to be 6. We have traditionalists, we have baby boomers, we have Gen Xers, we have millennials, and we have Gen Zs. I know that we could get more into the weeds about the different generations, but let's stick to the primary categories. And there's going to be a 6th that is soon to be coming up, and that's Generation Alpha. So with that said, we have a lot of things going on between the generations. And that means a lot of walls have been built, lack of communication, lack of vision between the generations, lack of values, and combined missions. Not to say that they haven't worked well together, but we can do a better job. We can absolutely do a better job. And that's what this program is all about. And with the changes that are coming, we are going to help companies, organizations really support those transitions. So this whole idea, or this whole program, really is rooted in Dr. Alfred Adler's principle of psychology. Now, Dr. Adler was deviated from Freud. So he was a partner with Freud, deviated, and he said, hey, listen, the way that we function as human beings is it's not just psychosexual. It's not just because of our subconscious. There are multiple factors. Let's look at those factors and let's pay attention to those factors, because it's not just 1 or 2 things. There are many things that contribute to our behavior, to the way we think, to our focus. And so Alfred Adler really redefines, and as we use these principles, we redefine mentorship, what that looks like. And the reason I say that, and as we use his principles, we're really taking out the power differential in relation to a mentorship program. So many times you'll see mentor-mentee or reverse mentorship. This is not any of that. This is everyone is a mentor, everyone is a shared learner, everyone can be a mentor. And that takes some work. That takes a mind shift, because we all have information and knowledge to share. And if we let ego get in the way and that power differential get in the way, guess what? That's going to build up walls. That's going to build walls to our lack of communication, our lack of vision, collaboration as we work together in organizations with companies. So really what this helps is, as mentors and learners, we foster equitable exchange of information and experience. So with all that said, how this helps companies, it really helps break down silos, solve problems collaboratively, and innovate ways that transform the workplace environment and dynamics, which is so important. So we're really trying to make a culture shift. And other ways that it's going to benefit businesses, it's going to increase employee satisfaction. It's also going to add to greater organizational adaptability for the employees and for the different teams through diverse perspectives, which helps with innovation. And then it also enhances a cultural and technological fluency across teams. So there's so much that this program is going to really help with in relation to transition and helping them change a culture into one that is more equitable and collaborative. And these team members here are going to help, in that process. Plus, we have 15 coaches currently who are ready and excited about helping with the other component of this program, and that's leadership. So this is a combined program. So not only are we helping and have a process to help companies develop a cross-generational mentorship program, which is already in place. This process is in place, and it's high touch. So we're not going to let folks just wander off and not know where, how to develop this program. We're going to be there every step of the way. And so we're also part of this program, as I said, is leadership. And to support the development of this program, to support the mentors and shared learners, we're really going to help boost that support and those efforts by bringing in those facilitators who can help support through the leadership process. You want to add to this, Jen or Chasity?
No, I think you covered a lot of it already. Yeah.
I'll ask a question that one of them can answer. All right. Oftentimes I'll meet people or interview business coaches and they'll tell me, they're straight up, oh, I read 7 leadership books and now they're a leadership professional. Can any of you ladies tell me why you're different? Now, Dr. Summer covered a lot that she's going to offer, but what sets y'all different than other leadership business coaches, mentorship coaches?
I talked a lot and I can answer this, but I also want to hear from the team because they offer a great deal and bring a great deal of insight into this program. And like what we're asking from other companies, we are also a cross-generational program. So we bring in that knowledge, but we're living it too as a team.
Definitely. Yeah, I can jump in here. With the experience that I have over 4 years of experience as a career development coach, where I've helped walk people through, you know, from entry level careers on into mid-level, higher level opportunities, really starting out with a lot who were in college and worked in higher education whenever I was in that capacity. And then pivoted and went into recruiting and currently hold a hiring manager role at the company that I'm with right now. So bringing in that experience, I think, is really important here because mentorship has been so important in those spaces. I've also been a mentor. I've mentored with the Goodwill Easter sales in my local area here, as well as locally mentoring in the high schools. So I've been involved in things in that capacity as well. And I think that really helps when it comes to fostering this cross-generational mentorship, because I've had mentors who were, you know, of different generations and older than myself. And I've also been a mentor to those who are younger than myself, and just seeing that is not the top down or bottom up type of transition and connection that we have here, but the cross generational really creates a beautiful channel of communication between the generations and the free flowing of information and being able to learn from one another, but all having that mentor title and being able to have that capacity to teach one another and to share those thoughts and ideas that we all have.
Jen, do you have any thoughts?
Yes, I will add, as Summer said in the beginning, you know, we are not just this reverse mentorship, which we see a lot out there, and that's what makes that. I think that's one of the biggest things amongst other qualities that we as a team, as well as what we're offering organizations, bring to the table. Not only that, but I think because of the experience of each team member and in different capacities, working at, you know, Fortune 500 companies, or, you know, in the private sector, nonprofit sector, whatever it may be. I know from my personal contribution, like I've been involved with a lot of startups, especially in the financial services arena. I've been there with the development of, you know, the startup companies, emerging growth, you know, that area of like, oh my goodness, this is like building the plane as we're flying it. And so I've had that experience. And it's in the experience of developing programs. And I think one of the biggest things that's really important to KMS in the development of the programs is helping the leaders, the HR people, the, you know, the directors, the managers, the people that are in leadership. How do we support them? Because a lot of some of the things that we're hearing is like, you know, "Oh, I don't know what I don't know what to do. I don't know how to lead. You know, I'm stuck. I need some support." So we're hearing those folks, and then we're also hearing what the team members need. And so it's really not just, okay, support top management, but how do we support both sides of the equation? And so we're paying attention to those things. We're also very high touch. This is not like, hey, here's some modules in an online course, and you're just going to go through it and watch some videos. This is why it's important. This is why it's important. We're laughing because we've seen those things out there. And I think that's one of the things that makes us very unique, is that we want this to be high touch. We're very involved with our coaches, our facilitators, and even specifically chose them because of their roles, because of how they're currently helping within their own businesses. So we hand selected people that are in the trenches that do these things. They themselves have leadership qualities that they're teaching their own clients, but they're also partnering with us with KMS. And so, you know, it's a combination of those different things, and really paying attention, because how many times have we had a friend that's talked about their, you know, how they're disgruntled at work, right? And they're just like, oh, my boss doesn't listen to me and I hate it here. But my question always is when I have those conversations with friends is like, well, who's listening? Who's talking? Who's facilitating these conversations? Or it's not happening. And that's where we are bridging that gap. We
Mm.
are going to be the team that comes in to support, not to take over, but to support and implement the program. So that's like, all right, almost like a mediator, right? Okay, what do you guys need? And what do you guys need? And how do we make this all work so that it's a win-win-win situation for everybody?
Thank you, ladies. Now we have a new administration coming in, and like any new administration, there's always people that are concerned about how is it going to change the workforce. So it could be that this next administration says everybody has to come to work. I mean, that's not necessarily, in the public sector, but or private sector. Sorry about that. I'm an HR person. I should know better. But like government, how is it going to affect people in the government? I mean, can you go out there and reassure them that everything's going to be all right?
I can speak to this because I live in the hub of the DMV. So the DC, Virginia, Maryland area. I am a Northern Virginia person, live here. My husband works for the federal government. And quite frankly, we're seeing a lot of things that are going to absolutely change. And just because it's going to change for the federal government, it also means for the private sector, things will change because of funding sources, because of what's being asked, what's being mirrored out there in society in relation to, I mean, we're already seeing it with Amazon that asked all their folks to come back into the office. So it's happening in the federal space as well as the for-profit space as well, where people are being asked to come back to the office. We're hearing that people in the federal government who have hybrid or remote status are going to be asked to come back into the office. Now that means that there are people living all over this country right now that are going to have to either move back here or something's going to happen. So I'm not saying this is definitively what's going to happen, but this is what I'm hearing. And so as I'm hearing these things roll out, I'm fearing for these folks that may lose their jobs, may need be job hunting. Companies are going to be looking for new talent or how to shift positions in a way that they can keep or retain folks. There's just so many things that are going to be happening in this new year
Mm-hmm.
based on transition. And when we look at transition, or when I look at transition from a clinical perspective, it takes 0 to 6 months to really go through a good transition. But if you don't have a plan or strategy for that transition, this could cause issues.
Mm-hmm.
And so I say this because it's going to be a program like this that, although it's a cross-generational mentorship leadership program, that is going to help people from all different levels learn how to communicate, break down walls, feel less siloed, reduce the feelings of isolation, understand what it looks like to be in the workforce if they have a mentorship program in place where we're really embracing the idea of knowledge and depth of experience with innovation, right? And so when we bring those two things together, those multiple things together, we're looking at a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're not even able to have the conversations, or if people are feeling silent, or if they're feeling like they aren't being heard, how's that going to work? And if you don't have a process in place or a strategy in place, where are you going to be next year? Where are you going to be in 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be in the same place that you are today. So we're saying we're a program that's going to help with that transition. I've been in places, worked in places based on that transition, but I've also strategically helped others build strategy for transition. And I've worked in all kinds of arenas, from nonprofit, for profit. I've worked for hospitals. I've worked for nonprofit organizations. I've had incredible mentors. And this is why I know mentorship programs work. But here's something I want to mention. Based on our research, there are companies that from Fortune 50 to Fortune 500 that have or say they have a mentorship program. But based on a recent survey that we did, most of those people who answered that survey said we have something casual, or the company says they have a mentorship program, but nobody follows up on it. There's no guidelines for this mentorship program. So guess what? We're here to help folks with that. We're here to help companies with building a cross mentorship program, as well as help them with the transitions that they're going to see coming in the new year and beyond.
Mm. And I hear that too, Dr. Summer Watson, is that a lot of people, they put it on the mission statement, or they have, sayings and such in the workplace, but they don't follow through, which
Yeah.
really is a shame. Really is a shame. Where does workplace balance and well-being come into this? Is this something that you'll be teaching and consulting with to
Oh,
companies?
yes, absolutely. Let me answer this really quickly, because, and then I want that Jen and Chastity to chime in here, because we have multiple coaches, leadership coaches. Some are nurses, some are lawyers, some are, have built their own businesses, so entrepreneurs. There are some that have worked in the medical field, and there are three pillars that we're really looking at in relation to really focusing on, and that's higher education, healthcare, and technology. So those are the three areas that we're really focusing on, reaching out to those various companies or entities to be able to help. And with that said, we have leadership facilitators that run that whole gamut, or that whole purview of expertise. And so, as Jen said, we hand selected these folks. So I have a nurse who's a part of the team as well, who's part of the leadership or facilitation team, who's a nurse, and people have wellness backgrounds. I mean, even Jen, she facilitates mindset and things about finance and money mindset and health and wellness. So I'm going to actually pass this over to Jen so she can talk a little bit more about that as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that, again, like we mentioned, that makes us unique is the wide range of amazing people that are partnering with us, and definitely for sure, work-life balance, mental wellness, health. Those are very, very important topics that we definitely have implemented into the program, because those are important. It's not just strategy. It's not just, here's a program, but it's has to be holistic. It's all holistic, and that's why, we want to make sure that we're bringing something where people feel good. They feel good. They feel they have purpose and value. They feel good about going into work, because we're helping them shape it to how they would love to see it be, right? Nothing's worse than having to go like, oh, I gotta get up and go in again. Like, we don't want that feeling, right? We want to feel good and be like, you know what? I'm grateful. I get to go in because I have meaning and purpose with what I bring to this company, and they support me. They are invested in my value. They are invested in me growing. That was another thing we found in our surveys, that people want to feel that they're supported in their growth in the company. Because something that was very important to us was that, how do we support people so that they feel, I want to stay here? Because, and then we look at it again, because we're always looking at both sides of the equation. We're looking at, leaders and management. How much are you dealing with overturn? And people leaving and then having to retrain and lacking retention. So we're looking at all these different things. How does our program support? And then, to also piggyback off what Dr. Summer said, is that, yeah, there are companies that say they have a program, but what we've also found is that, like, it's kind of like, yeah, just go match yourselves up on that spreadsheet and then go figure it out. That is not a program. That is like, you help people get together, and then those people are left like, oh, what do we do? I guess we're supposed to talk about what we want, and that's not a program. And then it's like, we look at the people in leadership. It's like, they don't need more homework. They're trying to do their jobs. Everybody's trying to do their jobs. It's like, if we can support them by, hey, this is where you can, follow the structure. Now we feel supported. It's not like giving me extra homework and I already got my job here. Why do I got to figure out how to do this program? Like, I have to make a program. We want to make this easy. We want to make this something people can really, embrace, so that they all have a vested interest to improve not only their life and their work, but just the whole company culture.
And I want to jump in here as well and talk about wellness, balance.
Mm-hmm.
With my background in clinical psych, It is very important to me that people have that balance, that can incorporate that wellness into their everyday lives as well as their jobs, because this stuff seeps into everything we do. Whether when we go into a company and we start working and we're not getting along with our peers or we're not feeling valued, guess what happens when we take that home? That comes out, that seeps out in certain ways, and we feel disgruntled or we feel depressed. And here's the thing, the reason we have incorporated Alfred Adler's principles is because he was a holistic practitioner. He was the first holistic practitioner that was recognized for humanistic psychology. And so I am a humanist. I am a holistic psychologist. So, with that said, I wanted to have that be part of this foundation. So, we're looking at wellness and also turning to Chastity. She also has 2 master's degrees. One of those is also in psychology. So, and Jen has worked in wellness and mindset. So, it's really important to this team that we not only have that and we have an exchange of communication and authenticity, a clarity, a transparency with our team to make sure that we're well, we're healthy, we're balanced as we're working through programmatically what we're doing here to offer others as well. Because we want to bring what we have here to other organizations, to other companies, because this is a model of what works and what feels good. And it's a model of retention. It's a model of how we break down silos, how we communicate authentically and transparency. Here's the other thing that is really important based on this program. We are not a program that's based off of 2 books. We are a program that is based off of, and mind you, let me tell you, I have seen mentorship programs that are based off of 2 books. And this is not. This is quality, and these are folks that are on this team that are going to help move companies through this program in a way that we care. We care and have knowledge about what it means regarding wellness and balance, but also having strategy, knowing what that looks like, because we've all worked in different fields of expertise to understand that there needs to be a strategy, to understand a shared vision, a mission, goals, those kinds of things. You know what that means, Don, because you've been in the military. And when you enter a military facility, guess what they have on the wall? The mission.
Yes.
And I'm a military spouse of 21 years. And guess what? I've been in many of those buildings to understand strategy, to understand what mission is. Because even as a military spouse, a military wife, I've lived that mission too. And that shared vision.
Yes. Yeah.
So, we can talk strategy, but we also need to talk human values, human purpose, human understanding, human communication, and combining that is what this program is all about. And that's what this team is about. And I'm so proud of this team because we've all come together and shared a vision. And we're also, you know, um, understanding what others' innovation and ideas are to move this forward and being accepting to that and letting egos go and say, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that sounds better, right? That sounds like it would work more effectively and efficiently. So when we're talking about these things, we go over it, we hash it, and this is forever growing. It's not that we're stopping because, as I believe, we're fully self-actualized when we're gone. Well, this program is not gone, it's here. And so that's why we continue to grow it as a team of learners.
And as we wrap up, I have to say, probably the best mentor in my life was a little Black man who was a chief master sergeant in the Air Force. And I watched him. He knew how to run the mission, but he also knew how to take care of the people. And I would have walked through hell for him. As we wrap up, we're down to our last 30 seconds. How can people find out more about your program, hire you, hire the team? How can they find out more, Dr. Summer Watson?
They can go to KORE Women, that's KORE women.com, and check out the program. And then they can also reach us on LinkedIn. They can reach myself, Jen, or Chastity.
I'd like to thank you, Dr. Summer Watson, Chasity, and Jen. And I know there's a couple others out there that are on the team. Thank you for your efforts. I mean, the workplace is everything and it has a rippling effect on all of us. Stay tuned. We'll see you next time. Stay empowered.